Hello and welcome to 5 for the Future for the week of October 16th. Thanks for joining me for this video summary of my weekly paid newsletter that shares 5 top signals of change that you need to know about in order to future-proof your small business. The newsletter has more details on each topic and a lot more on my take as to why these topics stood out to me. But this amazing video summarizes the key points for you and for free. Honestly, you aren't seeing the true reflection of my genius and my above average reading skills with the video, but it's a good start and I'm glad you're here. Are you ready to get started with the 5 topics for this week? Let's start with our story number 1, restaurant trends. What's trending with restaurants? Robots. More specifically, Chipotle is expanding from Chippy, the tortilla making robot, to one that can assemble online orders so the human staff can focus on in-person orders. And Sweet Green is ready to remake their restaurant layout to incorporate their salad-making conveyor belt robot in order to slash the number of workers and time it takes to make a salad by half. Chicago's working to phase out tips and raise the minimum wage for tipped employees. And forward-thinking businesses are already worried about the impact that weight loss drugs like Ozempic might have on our eating habits in the US. Less snacking? No more fast food? What does that world look like? And if you're wondering whether your local mall is doing well, then all you need to do is see, is there a cheesecake factory? If yes, then it's in good shape. If no, it might not be. More stories on this topic in the newsletter, including Uber Eats spy robots, and my take on why these stories matter even if you aren't in the restaurant industry. So check out the written newsletter if you subscribe. All right, moving on to story number 2, the latest space trends. Amazon has entered the space race with a plan to build massive constellations of satellites for internet connectivity. Lots of players in that business, including Dish Network, who was just fined for leaving space junk, aka an old satellite, in orbit. Many different businesses are now starting to think more about what life with space stations, space tourism, or people living on the moon might look like. Can we manufacture in space where the lack of gravity might be a benefit? Can we mine asteroids for precious metals? How do we create an infrastructure on the moon? And, more importantly, what do stylish astronauts wear on the moon? Answer: Prada spacesuits. How can your business connect with all this space talk? If Prada can get itself involved, surely you can too. And with that, let's move on to story number 3, algorithms for the win. More information is coming out as the US and Europe go after big tech firms for eliminating competition. First, it appears that Amazon used a secret algorithm to determine how much to raise prices so competitors would do the same. That doesn't save us money, but it did help bring in $1 billion in revenue for Amazon while it was in use, which it's not anymore. And based on some evidence shared in the Google antitrust case, it looks like Google may have optimized the concept of semantic matching, as in cat and feline or kids and children are synonyms. Their semantic matching algorithm was set up to send your general search for something directly to something shopping specific to get ads to pop up, which earns Google money when you click on them. End result, searchers get worse results, advertisers pay Google more, and Google makes more money, thereby justifying my cynicism and encouraging me to look for new ways to search and be found online aside from Google and Amazon. And moving on to story number 4, the future of women and business. Lots going on for this topic in the news recently, so I'll pick and choose a few key points and you can learn more in the newsletter for those who subscribe. Quick summary for you. All right, first, it's not a glass ceiling that's keeping women from being CEOs, but a broken rung, meaning women are consistently not promoted to manager level as frequently as men, creating a smaller pool with each promotion. 2, good luck becoming a female truck driver. The major trucking companies require your trainer to be the same gender, but less than 5% of truck drivers are women, and even fewer are trainers. So why is this the rule? Apparently because of the risk of sexual harassment by male trainers. Great. All right, number 3 in this topic, parents and coaches of youth chess players believe that girls are not able to be as successful as boys in the world of chess since it requires brilliance. Ouch. And some final takeaways with a few more points in the newsletter. Almost half of all Americans think that perfect parity between men and women at the executive level is unlikely to happen. Isn't that great? And men, some advice for you if you don't want to lose your CEO job: stop dating your employees and then covering it up. Just a friendly tip based on Lots of evidence. And finally, our final story, number 5, a thirst for adventure. The tragedy of the Titan submersible hasn't stopped the super rich from seeking out extreme tourism options like a spaceflight, a Mount Everest base camp trek, or even super extreme options like, and I quote, natural selection cycling safari. What? Or desert island tourism, where you get dropped off on a literal desert island and have to fend for yourself for some set number of days. For the less than super rich, even tickets to concerts and sporting events are more expensive than ever, causing funflation. But we all still continue to seek out adventure and maybe our 5 seconds of fame, since we don't have the global attention span for 15 minutes of fame anymore. What does all this mean to you? Have your prices kept up with funflation, or maybe just plain inflation? Maybe the end of 2023 is the perfect time to consider a bump in pricing. And think about how you can stand out in your industry and with your customers for your own 5 seconds of fame. And that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Another friendly reminder, of course, my paid newsletter offers more details on each of these 5 topics than there's room for in this video. So reach out if you'd like to see a free copy of the newsletter to help you decide if you want to subscribe. And again, thanks for joining me for this week's 5 for the Future. See you next week.